Cleasby conveyor, turntable, and stabilizer operation. Before attempting to operate the Cleasby conveyor, turntable, and stabilizers, make sure you have read the manuals and all safety decals and viewed the safety video. Once you have arrived at the job site and are ready to position your truck for loading roofing material to the rooftop, make sure there are no power lines in the path or way of the conveyor. Remember, it is against federal and state law to position the conveyor within 10 feet of a power line. Clear the area of any other obstacles such as trees or buildings that would be in the way of the conveyor. Park the truck in the most level position possible for safer operation of the conveyor. Block the truck wheels to avoid any movement or rolling. When the truck is in the desired position for unloading, set up a safety zone around the perimeter of the truck and conveyor. Make sure there is no one standing near or touching the truck or in the safety zone other than the operator before moving the conveyor. Lower the stabilizer legs until the truck rises slightly. Extend the stabilizers only enough to stabilize the truck. Do not raise the truck wheels off the ground. Unfasten the safety tie-down strap that is holding the conveyor down to the headboard of the truck. Make sure the safety zone is clear of all equipment and people. There are 4 controls which operate the conveyor and the turntable. They are the conveyor lift, the conveyor rotation, conveyor belt power, and the post raising and lowering. Slowly raise the conveyor from the headboard using the conveyor lift lever. Using the conveyor rotation lever, pull the lever out away from the control valve, and while holding the lever, rotate the conveyor until it is properly positioned over the rooftop. Using the post raising and lowering lever, adjust the height of the post to a convenient loading height. With the conveyor support leg dropped and in place, lower the conveyor onto the rooftop. Using the conveyor belt safety on-off control at the roof end of the conveyor, start the conveyor belt and begin loading the conveyor with roofing material. When all material has been loaded onto the rooftop, shut the conveyor belt safety on-off control to the off position before leaving the rooftop. Before moving the conveyor back to the truck, check the safety zone to make sure it is clear from any objects or people. Raise the conveyor slightly and reposition the conveyor support leg. Slowly rotate and lower the conveyor into its traveling position over the cab of the truck. Elevate the post so the conveyor is parallel with the bed of the truck. Secure the conveyor down by using the tie-down strap. Raise the stabilizers up to their secured and locked position and remove items used to set up the safety zone. Your safety, as well as the safe operation of all Cleasby conveyor equipment, is very important. Following all written instructions and safety decals, as well as all procedures in this video, will help to create a safe and accident-free workplace. Maintenance checklist items for conveyor, turntable, and stabilizers. Conveyor checklist. Before using the conveyor, turntable, and stabilizers each day, a routine maintenance check is required for safe operation. Check to make sure all safety and warning labels are present and legible. Refer to the operations manual located in the instruction tube on the loading end of the conveyor for the proper safety decals and their proper placement onto the conveyor. Check to make sure the conveyor loading guard is in place and not damaged. Check the belt for proper tension. When lifting up the belt by holding on to a set of cleats in the center of the conveyor, you should only be able to lift the belt 5 to 6 inches above the conveyor frame. To adjust the belt tension, loosen the nuts on the take-up adjuster bolt on both sides of the conveyor located at the loading end of the conveyor and tighten or loosen the belt by adjusting the nuts. Make sure you adjust both sides evenly so as to allow the belt to travel straight. Check the belt for any cracks, tears, or holes. Make sure the belt splice is in good condition and holding the belt together properly. If you need to replace the belt, Remember to replace it with only a non-conductive belt available from Cleasby Conveyors. Check to make sure the chain guard covering the chain and sprocket drive at the top end of the conveyor is in place and not damaged. Check the safety on-off valve at the top of the conveyor to make sure it is functioning properly. Replace the handle or knob if missing. Check the non-conductive hydraulic lines going into the safety on-off valve and going down the conveyor frame for cuts, leaks, or fraying. If you need to replace these hydraulic lines, remember to use only non-conductive hydraulic lines available from Cleasby Conveyors. Turntable checklist. Check the 4-spool control valve to make sure each control function is working properly and the proper handle decals are in place. Check the wear plugs on the outside of the outer post and on some models the middle post. Make sure they are adjusted in so as not to allow the inner posts to rub against the outer posts. Check the cylinder pins on the hydraulic cylinder that raises and lowers the conveyor and the saddle pin that connects the conveyor to the turntable post. Make sure the cotter pins are in place and not missing. If one of these pins were allowed to fall out, the conveyor could become detached. Check the velocity fuse or stop valve located at the bottom of the hydraulic cylinder. Make sure it is in place and performing properly. This stop valve keeps the conveyor from falling if a hydraulic hose breaks or if the hydraulic system loses pressure. Check the restrictor fitting located at the opposite end of the hydraulic line that the velocity fuse is located. Replace if missing or plugged. The fitting must work together with the velocity fuse valve or the conveyor will stay in the locked position. Check turntable posts for grease and lubricants. Make sure there is plenty applied to the inner posts. Check the gear bearing located below the turntable base plate for excessive wear or gaps. Replace if necessary. Check the hydraulic oil reservoir level by looking at the sight gauge mounted on the side of the reservoir. The reservoir should not be filled more than 75% full. Hydraulic stabilizer checklist. Check hydraulic stabilizer leg pins for wear or damage. Check hydraulic control valve and handles for their proper function. Check the check valve installed on the stabilizer cylinder. Replace if missing. This check valve keeps the stabilizer leg from coming down or folding up if the truck loses hydraulic pressure. Your safety, as well as the safe operation of all Cleasby conveyor equipment, is very important. Following all written instructions and safety decals, as well as all procedures in this video, will help to create a safe and accident-free workplace. Cleasby Power Lift and Power Bed Operation and Safety. Before you attempt to operate the power bed and power lift, make sure you have read the manual and all safety and warning decals and viewed the Cleasby operation and safety videos. Loading truck bed. To load, start by placing the first pallets of materials onto the power lift platform. Continue loading towards the headboard of the truck. The pallets should be uniform in size and as straight as possible. Do not double stack the pallets. Unloading operation. Unload the top half of the pallet one at a time onto the conveyor. To operate the power lift and raise the remainder bundle of shingles higher for loading, locate the foot controls at the rear of the truck body. Raise the power lift by depressing the foot pedal. When the power lift is in the raised position, flip the safety guards into the upright position on both sides of the power lift. After the materials have been transferred, remove the empty pallets from the power lift platform. Before lowering the power lift platform, make sure the safety guards are up. Clear the area or safety zone around the hole the platform will drop into and from around the platform itself of any people, debris, or material that would be in the way as the platform is lowered. Lower the power lift completely by using the foot controls at the end of the bed until it is level with the truck bed. Making sure there are no obstructions between the power bar and the pallets, depress the power bed foot controls to move the next set of pallets onto the power lift platform. Use caution when pushing pallets over the power lift platform to avoid pushing the load too far forward. The load must be placed squarely over the power lift platform. Before returning the power bar back to the headboard, make sure that any loose debris is removed from around the power bar rails and chain. When bringing the power bar back to the headboard stop, do not bind the chains by trying to move the power bar past the stop. Your safety, as well as the safe operation of all Cleasby conveyor equipment, is very important. Following all written instructions and safety decals, as well as all procedures in this video, will help to create a safe and accident-free workplace. Maintenance checklist items for power bed and power lift. Before loading the truck each day, a routine maintenance check is required for safe operation of the power bed. Check to make sure all safety and warning labels are present and legible. Check the safety guards for the power lift. Make sure they are present and functioning properly. Check the chains and pins for the power bed. Make sure they are not damaged or bent and the chain tension is correct. For proper chain tension, you should not be able to raise the chain above the power bed rails that the pallets slide on. Use the chain adjuster bolts to adjust the chain tension properly. Check the power bar and rails. Make sure they are not damaged or cracked. Check the gears and sprockets. Make sure they are aligned and that there is no damage or excessive wear. Check all welds for damage or cracks, including those around the power bar and power bar tray. Check all foot and hand controls for smooth operation. The foot controls are found on top of the truck bed, and the hand controls are found underneath the truck bed, directly underneath the foot controls. Check sensors and direction lights. Make sure they are functioning properly and that they function both visually and aurally. Check all bearings. Make sure there is no excessive wear and that they are properly greased. Your safety, as well as the safe operation of all Cleasby conveyor equipment, is very important. Following all written instructions and safety decals, as well as all procedures in this video, will help to create a safe and accident-free workplace.